not to the level that Tucker Carlson is. I still want to be a sworn enemy of lying, pomposity, smugness, and groupthink. The world's been shocked with what has been happening in Israel, and rightfully so. This should shock anyone who has heard of the horrors, seen the horrors that have occurred in that region of the world. We talk about religion and politics here. You can't help but notice what is happening there and observe politics and religion. To us, Hamas is just a name. But put yourself in the shoes of a Jew. What do you hear when the word Hamas is said? You just don't hear a name. In Hebrew, Hamas means violence. Violence. Look in your Old Testament Bible. And in that Old Testament, you'll see in Genesis chapter 6, verse 11 and 13, the word violence. The whole earth was filled with violence. That's the word Hamas. Look at Psalm 11, verse 5. There's the word violence. That's the word Hamas. I think it's Psalm 55, verse 9, the word violence. It's the word Hamas. Even in Malachi, I think it's chapter 2, verse 16, you see the word violence in English. In Hebrew, it's the word Hamas. Hamas. In its lamentable context, it also refers to cruelty and injustice. So for us Americans who hear the word Hamas, it's just a name. But to the Jews in Israel, it's more than a name. Hamas means violence. I've heard it said that the atrocities that have occurred over there are very Nazi-like. I beg to differ. They're not so much Nazi-like as they're Islamic-like. Meaning, the word Hamas in Arabic is Islamic Resistance Movement. Hamas is an acronym for Islamic, not Nazi, resistant movement. Study the texts. The texts in Islam tell us this is what they're to do. Read Quran chapter 9. It's the chapter on jihad. I don't expect you to read all the hadith. That's the traditions, I'd say second most authoritative books in Islam. But there's a hadith. It's found in Al-Bukhari. It says something to the effect of this. A stone says, "O Muslim, there is a Jew hiding behind me. Seek him out and kill him." You can't get any more direct than that. So of course we think as we hear about these awful atrocities that have occurred, it reminds us of the Nazis, especially when you hear in Australia groups of Muslims getting together shouting, "Gas the Jews." And you don't think something like that is also occurring here in America? Watch what takes place in Dearborn, Michigan, or in the Minneapolis area. We need to keep our ears and eyes open. We need to understand the situation. You see, for Hamas, they understand this world in two houses, the house of peace, which they claim to be, and the house of war, any nation that is not Islamic. Guess what they consider Israel to be? A house of war. And Israel to them will only become a house of peace when the Jews are subdued, removed, or eliminated. That's just the way the world breaks down in this Islamic perspective that leftist media individuals and personalities and leftist clergy and professors seem to ignore or just want to dismiss it. But we can't. I encourage you to watch a video by Dennis Prager. It's on PragerU. It's called The Mideast Problem. And he says, with respect to this problem, each side wants the other dead. The motto for Hamas goes something like this. Hamas is as passionate to die as the Jews are willing to live. So it's a matter of staying alive when the Jews fight as a Jew. But it's a matter of fighting to the death for Hamas to eliminate the Jews. Let me say that again. It's a matter for the Jews to fight in order to stay alive. It's a matter for Hamas to fight to the death to get rid of the Jews. Dennis Prager says, if Israel laid down its arms today, there would be genocide. If Hamas laid down their arms before this all took place, there would be peace. Think about it. See, it is about worldviews. It's not about land. It's about hate. People think it's just about territory. No, it goes way deeper than that. It's about hate. Hatred for the Jews. I so appreciate what was prayed by a local pastor here on a Sunday morning. It was a public prayer. His heart didn't feel it, but he willed it from his heart when he prayed for the terrorists. Basically, as Jesus instructed the disciples to do when Jesus said, pray for those who persecute you. To me, that reflects the redemptive, reconciling, and peacemaking purposes of the Prince of Peace. And it's to him people must turn. That is the key as we pray for the peace of Jerusalem. Well, unlike Tony Kornheiser, pardon the interruption, I cannot promise you that I'll do better the next time. And unlike Tony Kornheiser, I will wave the flag, the sackcloth flag, for humility.